David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today, I have for you not one, but two brand new releases from Visconti in their Opera Master series. And those would be the Opera Master Essence, in which Visconti has partnered with Jonathan Brooks to have some new and unique resins in these two models called Firestorm and Stargazer. What I am going to do today is go over the parts and features of these pens, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about them, show some measurements, and some size comparisons. This is a limited edition offering, and as I mentioned up top, it is a partnership between Visconti and Jonathan Brooks. Since I have two pens to show you today, I thought that I would mix things up a bit. So in order to get a closer look at these two beautiful offerings, please join me over here at camera 2. Okay, here we have the two pens in the Visconti Opera Master Essence. We have the Stargazer, which is this green model, and then we have the Firestorm, which is the red. I like that each of these resins are unique. Due to the handmade nature of this material, every pen in this series is going to be unique in its patterning. Let's take a look at these one at a time, just to start off with. Here is the Stargazer. I wanted to give you a close-up look at that resin here. I think it really almost looks like, kind of like granite. This would almost make for a really interesting countertop. But I like this kind of deeper green and black that's mixed in here. This one has ruthenium plated trim. You can see here on the Visconti clip that it is green in the background there. And we have the Visconti logo up top. And then here on the clip, it says Opera. And then here on the end, we have a number. This is a numbered limited edition. Both of these pens are limited editions of 88 units. So that is the Stargazer. And here is the Firestorm. What I really like about the Firestorm is the depth of the material. As I mentioned, every pen is going to be different in this series, but I like how there is some darker black resin, but then there's some of the golds and reds that are a little bit deeper in the material and just really add a bit of life to this. You can see here on this particular clip, it is colored in either a kind of a brownish red or just a very dark maroon. Which is nice. Now, I mentioned the Visconti logo up top. This one does utilize Visconti's My Pen system, where you can trade, this piece is held on by a magnet, and you can trade it out for your birthstone, your initials, or something like that. Or if you are anal like me, you know, if it gets a little bit off center, you could actually kind of adjust it with your finger, and it gets back in alignment, which is nice. Now, there's a couple of other really nice things about this pen. It uses Visconti's squared circle technique to where you can see that it is, that it is kind of squared off and has multifaceted, but then also has some rounded edges on it. Another thing that it uses that I really like is their hook safe mechanism. Their hook safe mechanism here basically allows you to cap and uncap the pen in a quarter of a rotation. And you can see the grooves here in the ink window. This is a vacuum filler, and this is a dual reservoir vacuum filler. What that means is that when you pull this out, you really can't see the vacuum filler in here, but you pull this out and then you stick it in the ink of your choice and you depress this and it fills this up. But then once you seal this, it seals the back chamber from the forward chamber. And this is the forward chamber right here. That's really good if you're on a flight or something like that. So it minimizes the amount of air that's in here and leakage. But then also it's nice because you can get a good look at your ink situation here. And then when you are out of ink or run low, you can simply crack open the back and just crack it open just a tiny bit, allowing some of the ink from the back flow to the front, and you are back in business. In regard to this nib, it is an in-house nib that is made in Florence, Italy. and it is 18 karat gold, and it is available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a 1.3 millimeter stub. You know what? When regard to the section, it is a metal section, and it is a little bit on the slippery side, though it does have a nice edge here. Now, I have a tendency to grip my pens close to the end of the section, and so on this, the edge does a really good job of helping me maintain my grip. If you do hold it a little bit further back, you might find it's a little bit slippery and that it might kind of want to make its way down to the front. This cap does post. Let's see if I can keep this in frame. It does post, and it does post securely, but with this cap, it is a little bit on the heavy side, and so I do feel that it kind of makes it a little bit unwieldy, so I prefer to use this pen unposted. Let's take a look at that Stargazer, and you can see how this has the ruthenium plated trim and the ruthenium plated nib. Let me get up close here and get a look at that stamping. I've always liked Visconti's stamping on their nibs. It almost kind of has a fleur-de-lis type of look to it, and just always thought it looked interesting. And then there is the plastic feed. And again, this section on this one is metal, and a little bit on the slick side, but that edge here, at least for me personally, helps me maintain a solid grip. Okay, let's take a look at some size comparisons. In regard to a number of other Visconti pens, this is what it looks like with a Wall Street, and this is what it looks like with the Opera Crystal Midnight, and then here it is with the Homo sapiens. In regard to a few other Viscontis, here it is with a Divina, and then here it is with an Opera as opposed to an Opera Master, so you can see the different size of that. I always liked this material. This material was called Desert Springs. I have a Divina in this as well. This is one of my favorite Visconti materials that they have produced. And then finally, here is a Blue Ripple, which is one of my favorite pens, one of my favorite Viscontis as well, and I think it looks nice in comparison. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, this is what it looks like with the Divina, and this is the Divina Maxi, and here it is with the Homo sapien, and then this is what it looks like with the regular Opera. You can see it's considerably smaller than the Opera Master. Okay. This review, unfortunately, will not contain a writing sample. These pens are on loan from the good folks at Coles of London, who are the U.S. distributor for Visconti, as well as SD DuPont. There are times when pens are lent to me that I am asked not to ink up. Mainly that's due to the fact that these pens I have in my possession will be sold, so they need to remain in new and unused condition. While I would prefer to do writing samples in all of my reviews, I think the benefits of being able to get a closer look at these interesting offerings that you might not get to see elsewhere outweighs the omission of one portion of the review. It's an important portion, but one that in this review I hope you don't miss. The Visconti Opera Master Essence pens can be found at a number of retailers. The MSRP is just under $1,200, but if you purchase from an authorized retailer, there's a 20% discount, which brings the price down to right around $950. I've seen it on some sites as low as $920, which is a price that's in line with a number of other Visconti limited edition offerings. I like both of these pens. I like that, like I said before, I like that they're different. I really like this green, but if I had to choose one, I think it would be the Firestorm. I just really love the depth of this material. In the comments, let me know which of these you care for. Okay, thanks again. Go out to the good folks at Coles of London for providing these pens on loan. I have enjoyed getting a closer look at them. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.